I'm here with Tobi Oetiker, author of RRDTool, MRTG, and Smokeping. And I wanted to ask Tobi a little bit about what's in store for the future of those tools, as well as could you give us a little bit more information maybe about maybe potential future commercial stuff that you're interested in or that you're doing? Could you share that with some of the community out there?
I guess you'll have to edit that. Me thinking. Now with MRTG, let's look at the individual products. With MRTG, it's sort of like in maintenance mode. So it seems that it doesn't die. I originally, in about 99, I thought, well, it's reached the end of its potential, and I stopped doing stuff with it, but it didn't die, and it just doesn't die. So every now and then someone sends in patches, or even if someone asks a question on the mailing list, he gets answers immediately. Just today there was a post and he got 3 answers. So people seem still to be using it, but I guess it has sort of reached a level of stability where it does what people expect it to do. It just continues to do that. And since the log files are sort of automatically cleaned out, you could just let it running. It never breaks. There is this sort of vision to eventually replace the web front end of MRTG with something new and cool, and yeah, it's just a vision.
Do you mainly focus on RRDTool then for new development?
At the moment, development is, well, RRDTool has I think the most active user community, in the sense that if there are bugs, people report them, and some even send patches. And there are some people who actively contribute code and are very opinionated about what is right and what is wrong and what should be there and how it should be implemented, stuff like that. So if you ever look at the RRDTool mailing list, there is a developers mail list which has some heated exchanges about what is right and wrong. So I'm investing time in RRDTool development. And
one thing I was going to ask too about that, I mean, RRDTool is used as the basis of almost every graphing solution that I've seen, whether it's open source or commercial open source. I know you have sponsorships for your website. Do you do custom development or consulting for RRDTool?
I offer it whenever it comes up, but I don't have any consulting contracts for RRDTool, because it seems that by the time that people actually have gone through all the hoops they would have to go through internally, they figured it out themselves or ask on the mailing list, and the problem's gone. So maybe the documentation is too good, or the software is not all that complex. I don't know. It's at LISA, the Usenix conference, which happens once a year. There are RRDTool tutorials which are quite well attended normally. So I guess there is some sort of a market for consulting or training in the area, but it's a limited number. So I guess it's the same as with GCC or some GTK library. People just take this for granted. So they use it and they're happy as it functions, and when it doesn't function they probably log a bug report, but that's about it. So I'm lucky to have sponsors who do pay money for RRDTool development without forcing their agenda on me. So the sponsors, or the sponsorship contracts I do, they state clearly that they're not involved in decision making on what happens to RRDTool. Now, obviously I listen to them, but it's not them who decide.
Right.
And for the rest, it's just when I'm using RRDTool and I see a feature I'm missing, then obviously I'm implementing it, and I'm also integrating it into the open source release.
You had mentioned to me that you were thinking about maybe a new interface for RRDTool, something along the lines of what maybe Smokeping does. Is that we had a really fast taxi ride this morning? So
yeah, what I found is that in So while RRDTool is all backend, Smokeping is sort of user-facing in the sense that people see Smokeping and associate a web GUI with it and functionality, and there's a wider audience who sees what Smokeping does. If someone sees an RRDTool graph, maybe they read little RRDTool in the graph, but normally they associate the graph with whatever tool is embedding the graph. And so there's also, for development, I got quite some money from companies who wanted Smokeping enhanced in different areas. So I assume there is a market for customization if it's user-facing, if people do actually see the product and can imagine the immediate benefit. So my evil plan is to write a front end which can hook into existing systems. So as the OP5 guys were telling today, you don't have to lose your existing Nagios installation in order to try their new GUI. My visionary non-existing tool would hook on top of different types of monitoring systems and just present the information in a more accessible manner. So stuff like a dashboard or the ability to set up your graphs manually, as well as pulling whatever information that system already provides into the web interface. So if you're hooking it onto our MRTG, for example, it would show you the information which you can see in MRTG in a similar manner, but it would also let you assemble new graphs from different data sources which are already contained in MRTG. And then the contribution part would be that people could write adapters for this generic frontend into their monitoring system, and also, now that's all in my head, some manner to figure out new graphs or new presentations based on the data you have. So if, for example, you have I have to go back a little. We have a solar energy plant at home now. Now I'm interested in monitoring solar energy plants. And if you have hot water and you want to see how much energy goes into the hot water in order to heat it up, you can measure how much water goes through your pipe and what temperature it has as it goes in and what temperature it has as it comes back. So in order to know the energy, there has to be some formula based on the liters of water and the temperature difference. It's an easy formula, but that sort of information could be hidden away in a plugin, and if you then have data sources which are liters and data sources which are temperature difference, then you could have this plugin calculate the energy for you. So it should be very generic so that the front end is a program in itself. The way I'm intending to do that is using a GUI toolkit called kubestoo, which enables you to write applications entirely in the browser. So while today most front ends are well, they're a collection of PHP classes or files hanging around, this would be, well, some sort of server backend, obviously, but the server backend would be rather smallish, and all the application logic in the sense of presentation and user interaction would happen inside the browser, being written in JavaScript. The whole dependency on the server side is actually quite small, so the server side would probably be just CGIs, no requirements for any fancy PHP or what have you. It will be probably written in Perl, since I'm writing my stuff in Perl, but it will not require people a lot of stuff, additional stuff on the server in order to install, which will then again make it more easily accessible. Because I'm afraid that large PHP deployments are, well, they are a burden on people to try out, because they have to install so many different additional plugins into the PHP setup that they endanger their web server of becoming unstable and stuff like that. So.
Do you